Good morning. It's Friday. It's I think about 10, half 10, something like that. And I'm going to show you my terrible allotment, my incredibly messy, awful, you won't believe I've had it for 3 years allotment. So before we start, I've had this allotment plot for about 3 years and I've never really done anything much with it. Last year I think I grew some potatoes, some kale, some chard, some leeks and onions, and that was about it. And I haven't really ever taken care of it properly. It's just been, well, I'll explain maybe at the end of the video. It just hasn't worked for me so far. But this year I am determined. I have renewed energy and determination, and I've been in touch with some of the people that are in charge of various things on the plot, which will hopefully help sort out some of the problems that I've had. It's which I will talk about at some point, but just not right now. It's a very small plot. It's only, I think it's 50 foot by 25 foot. It's a half plot basically. It's very open. If I show you, there's no fencing, hedging, there's public footpaths around me. It's very open, it's very exposed. As such, the soil, the ground gets really hard and cracked every year. But right, let me just stop waffling and let me show you the absolute state of the place. Okay, so I'll show you some of the facilities that are near my plot. So we have a toilet, which is very handy, although I live fairly close, so it's not too much of a problem to pop back if I need to. I have a water supply here, which is on my neighbour's plot, and then this patch of grass, oh god, it's embarrassing really, but this plot of grass and weeds is mine. In fact, you can barely see where it starts. It's kind of there and there. I've got a horrible yucca plant that needs to come out, beautiful rose bush, fantastic pear tree. There's rhubarb growing in the middle that I don't actually want. I possibly might keep one crown of rhubarb. There's another one, there's a smaller one over there, that might be the one that I keep, and then I'd like to get rid of the ones in the middle. There's a cherry tree, which is lovely. Got some knackered old chairs there, pampas grass at the back, some sort of strange moat system around the pampas grass. I don't know what the previous owner or tenant was trying to achieve or trying to do. Oh, look at the blossom on that. That's my neighbour's tree. Oh, that looks lovely. Anyway, yeah, so somewhere around here. Is that another? Oh, there's another rhubarb. Oh my gosh. It's another rhubarb. Yeah, so there's pampas, some sort of strange moat system, this beautiful cherry tree, which I will say one of the problems that I've had is that people have stripped it, human hands have stripped it the last 2 years running and basically stolen all of the produce from it. Even though I am a fairly relaxed person, if people walk past and they want to grab a handful of cherries, that's fine. But the fact that overnight it gets stripped from top to bottom, it's just, you know, the behaviour of some people in communal spaces is just awful. This lavender bush is actually very beautiful. You can see it's got some grass, couch grass growing in the middle of it there. There was some sort of wildlife pond in the middle there, but it's obviously not functioning. This bit here, so this bit I did dig over, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's got some potatoes in it, but that needs mounting up, heaping up with some more compost. This bit's been dug over but not broken up yet. I'm probably going to have this as a salad bed this year. Tomorrow's plan is to bring the strimmer up to cut this grass down so that I can actually see a little bit more clearly what I'm working with. I have got some weed suppressing membrane down from last year where I was thinking about forming some paths but then didn't. So we're going to take a look at that today and see if there's anything we can do to make some progress on that. This patch here, I grew potatoes in last year, but it's just a bunch of weeds. There's a lovely peony at the back there. I don't know how well you can see that. Right there. Lovely peony, a couple of chairs to sit on. But yeah, it's pretty much a disaster. Oh, there's another lavender down there, which is usually very beautiful every year. Today is the day that I have chosen to make a start on sorting this heap out. It's really cold. You can see this. It feels like it's gone back to winter. It's going to be, I think, highs of 10 degrees today. I'll put the Fahrenheit in the corner somewhere so that those of you who are from the US, and I did have people watching my last couple of videos from the US. I'm really surprised and pleased by that. I think it's fantastic. So I'll pop the Fahrenheit temperature up on here somewhere for you guys. It's cold, basically. It's not, I wouldn't say it's typical spring weather. I think it's cold for an English or a British spring. So let me show you what I'm going to do today, or hopefully get done today. I have brought some cardboard with me, and I have another big piece of cardboard like this at home, which I will go back and get at some point today. Oh look, there's fennel. A stray bit of fennel. That's nice, you can stay. One of the things that I want to do at the front here, so this front section is where I have in the past grown lettuce and chard and things like that. I want to create a no-dig bed on here, and I want to have it as a cut flower patch because it's probably the brightest, sunniest area of the plot. And I think that a nice flower mix here, cut flower mix, would do really well. So I'm hoping to create this no-dig bed today. There's some compost, there's some mushroom compost available at the allotment that I can go and get. I do have to pay for it, but I figure it's a lot easier than trying to bring stuff here myself because I do not have a car. They've also got wood chips, so I was thinking create the no-dig bed and then start laying down paths properly. I've got some weed suppressing membrane here. I've got a bit more at home that I can go and get and bring up here. And I thought it would be really lovely if I could get this bit dug over, a path sort of going round it, and then get the no-dig bed sorted out at that end there for the cut flowers. In the meantime, I'm hopefully going to be charging overnight my strimmer, cordless strimmer that I've got, and then I will bring that along with me and sort this grass out, because actually, even if it's really neat, I think this is the thing that you need to remember with an allotment, because you know, this is the kind of state that you might inherit one in. It's so bad, it's so neglected. One of the things that you need to remember is actually, if you could just keep the grass down and the weeds down, just keep them trimmed, keep it neat and tidy, I could just have two beds. I could have this bed here, I could have the cut flower one at the front, I've got my lovely trees, some lovely sort of flowers and shrubs and things, and that could be it for this year if that's what I wanted to do. And actually the neighbouring allotment was taken over last year, so I'm just walking to a position where you can see. So this one here, which is basically grass, and the person started with just 2 or 3 raised beds at that end. And I kind of sort of watched the person do that, and I thought, you know what, that's fantastic, that's really manageable. I wish I'd tried to do something sensible like that. But yeah, so what should I do first then? I think the no-dig bed. Guys, we've got compost. A whole barrow full of mushroom compost, which I think is probably going to be enough to do about a third, maybe half of the bed that I've got planned. So we've got compost over there in the barrow. Before I do that though, the first thing that I want to do is soak this bed here. So ideally, usually, you would dig over a bed like this in winter. If you were digging and not using the no-dig technique, the cold weather, the frost and everything would break this all down. Normally, it's fine to do it in spring as well. It can be a little bit more labour intensive, but usually there's so much rain that it doesn't set to kind of lumpy rocks like this. However, it's been a very dry spring. So what I'm going to do is give this bed a really good soaking, leave that water to soak in while I'm sorting out my no-dig bed over there. Then hopefully this will be soft enough that I can work it over with a hand trowel, remove any remaining weeds and bits of grass and things like that, and then this will be ready to sow some seeds into. And there we have it. It has been soaked a couple of times with the watering can. I'm stopping for now and I'm just going to let that water sink in first. What tends to happen with clay soil is if you try and put too much water on it at once, it will just sit on the surface, because the clay is, well, if you imagine a clay pot and you fill it with water, it does not soak through very quickly at all. So yeah, I will leave that as it is, go and sort out the no-dig bed, and then I'll come back and soak this another 1 or 2 times, and then it should be hopefully ready for me to just break up into smaller chunks, into a finer soil. So I've made the executive decision to actually fold the cardboard in half so that I have a double thickness on here, and the reason for that is that ideally I would have covered this area up with some black polythene to try and kill off the perennial weeds. I haven't. There's going to be, I predict, a bit of a dandelion problem in this bed, and as disappointing as it is, because I wanted to do, you know, the biggest area possible, I'd rather do a smaller section and do it well, and really just having a double thickness of cardboard as well as a really thick layer of mulch is just going to help keep those weeds at bay a little bit more than if it was just a single layer of cardboard. So the next thing I'm going to do is soak this cardboard so that it sits nice and flat to the ground, that the moisture's trapped in it underneath the compost. The next thing I've done is I've just gone over this bed again with a hand trowel just to kind of break down those big lumps, and I think you can see it already looks a little bit different. It looks a little bit better. It means that the next watering that I've given it, so 2 watering cans full of water, will just kind of penetrate the next layer and should mean that I can break it down properly, and it should look more like that patch there by the time I leave today. You'll have to forgive the slightly stupid hair. I'm just honestly just clipping it up every which way today. My next job then is to go home. I'm going to get the other piece of cardboard, and I'm also going to get a roll of weed suppressing membrane to lay down to help form my paths that I'm going to create. And then I think when I've done that, so I should be able to finish the bed, create some paths, then I'm going to take a break. I think I'll go home and have some lunch after that, and then we'll decide what we're going to come back and do afterwards. It is 12:30. It's lunchtime. Let me show you what I've done, and we'll go and have some lunch at home and then pop back afterwards for the next stage. So as you can see, I've created my bed pretty much. I've got some compost heaped up on there, which I just need to spread over to that end bit. I've laid down just one single layer of weed suppressing membrane to lie underneath the wood chips. Now the wood chips will break down and form a mulch anyway, but because there's so many weeds and things here, I am using the weed suppressing membrane to kind of get it going and get it started. And then the great thing about this is that I've done this at home before in certain patches and bits of path and stuff, is that once the wood chip has been down for a while, it's been trodden in for a long time, and it's all kind of settled, is I can actually whip away the weed suppressing membrane and use it somewhere else and recycle it. So this is just going to go down just to block out the light, to help get rid of the weeds that are underneath, get the wood chip path off to a good start, and yeah, eventually it will be removed. So after lunch I'll be back, and it will be wood chipping the paths will be the job. I've left the property of the allotment community wheelbarrow here, so I'm hoping that people don't think that I'm not being tidy and I'm not tidying up after myself. I will be back probably in about an hour. I had a bit of the mushroom compost left over, so I'm going to spread that over here on my potato bed that I've got. I can't think what potatoes I put in here now. I think I've got it written down in my planner. I think it was it was First Earlies, and I think they're called Casablanca. I think that's what's sown in there. And then I also need to come back and break this down a bit as well. And then hopefully, if I've got time today, I'm going to form the path along here and sort out the edge here and get some of this path sorted as well. So we shall see. I don't know how much of this I'm actually going to get done today, but we're going to give it a go. It is now 4 o'clock and I'm calling it quits for the day, just because I'm very conscious of the fact that my back is aching and I'm tired. I've done as much as I can in one day, and I always overestimate how much I can get done. What I'm going to do now then is spin you around and show you what I have managed to achieve today, and then what we're hopefully going to come back and do tomorrow. Okay, it's a bit noisy in the background here because there are some kids playing football after school in the park that's near me, and you know, they've got to scream about it, they're having fun. But this is the bed that I created. Pretty pleased with that. I managed to get that part of the path sort of done as well, which again I'm pretty pleased with. It's not laid quite as thickly as I would like, there's a few bits showing through, but you know, it will do for today. I found a blackberry bush here which I forgot I had, so I'm going to try and I might move it or I might try and work around it, I'm not sure yet. I did give the rose bush a little bit of a prune, so that's looking pretty good. This middle section, I think this is what we might come back and tackle tomorrow if possible, just to free up these plants and also come up with some sort of plan of action to get rid of the yucca plant. I've managed to get rid of, or rather dig up, one of the rhubarb crowns that I don't want, and I've still got another one over there to go. Kind of cleared the way for the next bit of path that I'm going to sort out, and then I have earthed up my potatoes a little bit more there. I had some leftover mushroom compost from the bed along the front, so that's looking quite good. I haven't dug this other section over yet. I've kind of run out of time and energy to do that. And then what I'm going to do with this here is narrow it, so I'm going to do it half the width. So I have a narrow path here, bed in the middle, another narrow path, and then a bed at the back. So I should have 3 parallel beds basically, and then the 3 parallel beds will be the ones that I grow vegetables in. It means that if I want to do crop rotation, I can through the 3 beds. If I use a no-dig method on one or more of them, I might not have to though. It means that that front section and this very grassy section here will always be for cut flowers, perennial flowers and things like that. And then what's left? Well, I think I'm going to be creating a compost heap over on that corner there. I need to strim around the pear tree, and then I'll probably just keep that as grass. I might put some bulbs underneath it. And then once I've done those things, it's just going to leave this kind of section at the back here around the cherry tree. So obviously I'm going to strum it all back so that we can see what we're working with. Again, I might just keep it grassy, keep it strimmed, and possibly put some lovely bulbs and things underneath it. And then this area here, I'd like to flatten that out and actually create a proper little area that I can store things in and have some slightly better seating and things like that. So yeah, I think that's going to be the plan of action. I think day 2 though is going to be getting wood chip on these paths, getting this narrow path sorted out and sort of take it to the end, digging that over, making sure that that's all sorted, strimming back the grass, and then I think sort of strimming in between there and kind of sorting that out if possible. And then I think we're going to be done then. I think that's going to be it for the day. Yeah, so those are the plans. I'm not sure how much footage I've actually managed to take today. Hopefully there's enough to kind of string into a day 1 video, and I will see you again in the next video for day 2 of the allotment makeover.